We're talking a double feature today, Gene.
Whose idea was that?
Well,
Talk about two movies in one episode.
It was your
We're
idea,
doing it.
but
oh,
it is.
That's right. It was my idea.
It's Merry Christmas, everyone. And so we decided, since it's the Christmas season,
yeah,
we would drag out a couple Christmas-themed horror films.
Yeah, one's oldie but goodie. You've seen, how many times have you seen this disaster?
Silent Night, Deadly Night is one of the great ones from 1984.
Yes, we all know about this.
And then we're also talking about the 2015 William Shatner picking up a paycheck movie, A Christmas Horror Story.
A Christmas Horror Story. Yes. We'll talk briefly about both of those.
Gene, where would you like to start?
Well, we'll start with Silent Night, Deadly Night, of course. And 1984, this thing came out, and it's classic slasher movie. It's has lots of interesting. I don't know if the word interesting. I take that back. It's just slasher, high body count. There's a lot of women, size 6 women with bare breasts.
Linnea Quigley is in it, so of course there is.
So there's a lot of that, and somehow the story is it's a real simple story. It's easy to follow. The little kid witnesses his parents get killed by a Santa who's a criminal who had just committed a robbery, shot a clerk at a convenience store, took his $37. He was mad his robbery only netted $37. Yeah, so of course he's mad. And so he stops his family, shoots the dad, shoots the mom. The kid runs out of the car. He witnesses the mom being pulled out of the car. The Santa tears her blouse off, and she protests quite vigorously, and then he gets mad, and then he slashes her throat. Slasher movie. He witnesses all of it, and so fast forward many years, he ends up in this orphanage, which I did research is actually, the movie was filmed in an actual orphanage in Utah, of all things. And so the building, if you try to go there to pay homage to this movie, this building has just since been torn down. But it was filmed in an actual orphanage. It's like, really? Okay. And so the kid ends up in an orphanage, him and his brother. They survived the terrible night. But Billy, his name's Billy, he's terribly traumatized. And so there's this evil mother superior. I mean, all the tropes, all the all the characteristics of just, it's just all there in the movie. And so, and so going on, kind of just explaining the plot a little bit here, just kind of set the mood, I guess. And so there's this good nun and the bad nun, Mother Superior. And so the good nun tries to set it. Now Billy's a teenager, and so for some reason he's like 6'4", looks like a middle linebacker for the Green Bay Packers or something. Somehow that happened, and so she finds him a job. But where does she find him a job? At a toy store. And she knows, because every Christmas Billy has a hard time because his parents were killed at Christmas. He's in the orphanage. But she places him at a toy store, and so it's run by this drunk guy. and there's his Santa gets sick, and so Billy gets recruited to be the Santa. Like, that is going to, on any universe, be a good idea. And so there's this messed up coworker who wants to, have sex with the attractive, front desk person, cashier. And so he takes her into the back, kind of like gets a little rough with her. Again, we see some bare breasts. Billy sees it, and then he just loses it.
Yes, he does.
And I'll just stop right there. And there's just mayhem galore. The body count increases almost exponentially. No, geometrically. But yeah, it's just, there's lots of bodies. One of the favorite kill scenes, these bullies, they get what they deserve. Yeah, and so they're going down a hill sledding, and there's an axe comes out of nowhere, and you can kind of imagine what happens.
So now, Gene, a year or two ago, you attempted to watch this film, and you stopped, and so I had to actually I've actually talked about this film before. I think it's last year or the year before.
But I think that's when we were just doing audio.
Yeah, you said this movie is trash. There's no way. Has your opinion of this film changed on any level?
Yeah, I gave you a plot summary. I didn't really say if I liked it. This movie, I kind of give it a little bit of credit. It's kind of trying and in its own little way to provoke some deeper themes. And I think whenever I've said this before, whenever like modern religion has been so messed up that it just fulfills the horror element perfectly. And this movie tries to really fit into that because, like, if you look at modern Christianity, a lot of people, I think, just have this completely wrong idea of what this thing is all about. You know, people think that Christianity is all about like hell and fire and brimstone and punishment and retribution, you know, and Samuel L. Jackson pulling out Isaiah before he blasts people. I think people think that's what God is about, but God is like none of that, you know? And so this movie kind of like goes into that. Is like Santa all about rewarding good, or is Santa about punishing the naughty? So Billy decides Santa's all about punishing the naughty. So he has a Santa suit on, so he's got to punish the naughty. And so, yeah, he punishes them.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, this movie is a classic. It's a horror classic. I mean, go into the movie. It's a slasher movie. Again, size 6'4" women, bare-breasted all over the place. If you're willing to go through that, the movie's not terrible.
Very good. This is one of the greatest slasher films of all time. I do watch this. I did not have to rewatch this for this episode because it is on my annual rotation for Christmas Day. So I watch Silent Night, Deadly Night, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and then also now Terrifier 3 has been added to that. But the beauty of this film, and Gene is touching on it, this is unique in the slasher genre because you get a significant backstory and on a certain level are empathetic to the plight of the killer. Because it starts when he is an infant child,
Billy.
A small child. There's a great interaction with his non-communicative grandfather at the beginning. The parents walk away, and then the grandfather's like, "You better be careful, boy. Santa's out to punish people and stuff."
Yeah, parts of it are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the grandfather's in his mental facility because he doesn't talk. But it's all some game. It's also a ploy because as soon as the doctor and the parents leave the room, you know, his face gets animated again like normal, and he just starts talking like a regular person to
but
Billy.
it's all
little Billy,
all trying to terrify the child that Santa's not a good guy, and if you better have been good all year. But it progresses this character then through the orphanage stuff, and I absolutely love the Mother Superior. One of the great lines in this movie is punishment is absolute, punishment is good.
Yeah, punishment is good.
Right. And then you have the other nun who is much more empathetic towards Billy and is actually trying to treat his trauma and recognize his trauma because his trauma is going
way back
untreated, right?
Yeah.
This is
if it's cool, I interject a little bit, but you just made me kind of think is that, you know, the Mother Superior, and she's wretched, she's evil, and then there's this good nun who embodies what, you know, the Christian spirit should be. So in their characters, their conflicting views of kind of the thematic elements of this movie, like what is really God about, what is really Christmas about, is like goodness, or is God Christmas about, you know, retribution? So yeah, you just want to throw that in. And I just thought is that, as I explained, you know, the interaction with the grandpa, and you kind of went over it too, but maybe that whole thing was all Billy. In Billy's mind, maybe grandpa was always like blank-faced. But in Billy's mind, Billy had, even at a young age, Billy was conflicted about what is Christmas. You know, is it good? Is it bad? So maybe he thought.
Yeah, I don't think the movie is that smart to do that. Because I do think that whole scene was then setting up the mom and dad get killed scene. He sees Santa doing that, and that's backing up what Grandpa had said. But I also like, for those of us who were around in the 80s, I love the Toy Store.
I was around in the 80s.
Toy Store set where, oh, wow, there's really cool Star Wars stuff in this toy store that would be worth a heck of a lot of money right now if it was still in the box and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know it was unopened, yeah.
Yeah, but this movie also has the singular greatest black comedy piece of all time. And this is why I watch this movie. And every time I see this scene, I'm just overwhelmed with great
O'Flanagan or something.
Father O'Flanagan. So the good nun, the empathetic nun, has tracked down, has gotten with the sheriff of the town and all this, and they're like, "Yep, it's Billy. He's in a Santa suit. He's gone off his rocker. He's killing people." So the cops are looking for him.
Right, and they got their guns ready to go. Yeah. I think the head cop says over the radio, "Shoot to kill."
Right. Oh yeah. And so then the scene cuts to the backside of this Santa walking towards the orphanage. In the windows, you can see all the orphans who've been mistreated their entire lives, desperately waiting for Santa to come.
Yeah, they have to deal with Mother Superior, but a lot of them are outside too.
Only to see this cop come up and just blast this guy, just blast him.
Yeah, because he's shouting to the Santa, stop. But
yeah. And so it's just one of the great scenes, because then the very next scene, of course, is you see Santa's boots as he's getting shoved into the thing, and all the sad children, like our one moment of joy in this nightmare of an orphanage, has now been taken away by a police officer.
He got shot so many times, there's blood splatter.
But then it's like, why didn't this guy turn around? And the sheriff and the nun are driving towards this scene. And it's like, it's not. The one cop on the scene turns him over. Is like, no, it's not Billy. And the cop's like, well, why didn't he stop? And the nun is like, well, that's Father O'Flannery. He comes every year. He's deaf. He couldn't hear him. And it's just so beautiful how they set that up. The other thing I will point out is there are multiple versions of this movie floating around. If you are fortunate enough to have this ancient Anchor Bay DVD set, the actual full uncut version of the film is on here. There's no way Gene saw that, because I'm assuming you watched it off streaming.
I streamed it.
Yeah.
Or buy a rental. Apple
significantly more gore, especially around especially around the whole massacre in the toy store. Linnea Quigley getting impaled on the antlers is much more graphic. And stuff. So I might leave this DVD here for Gene to watch the full version. Because he enjoys it now. But the other thing about this movie, of course, is it gained a significant amount of notoriety. There was parents groups that actually picketed this film and ended up getting it pulled from theaters because they were not happy with the ads being shown about a killer Santa. And of course, we always have to protect the children. All that really ultimately ended up doing was catapulting this film into the stratosphere as far as everyone must see it now, because everyone's mom wanted it banned.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, actually, talking about movie theaters, is actually at a movie theater, Century 16. I don't think it's there now, but it was just a couple weeks ago.
Brand new remake is out.
No, I think it was this one.
No, they showed this one just for the heck of it.
I think it was the 84 version.
Okay, well,
there is a new version.
Good for them.
Yeah.
But I just this is a great movie. It's a great slasher. It attacks the slasher genre in a way that most don't. I love the fact that you really get to understand this kid and his trauma. There are some deeper themes about,
if you want to look at trauma, they're things like themes. That. But it is a slasher.
But it's just a gore-soaked slasher. There is a really intense sequence at one point where he has killed a couple people in this house, and this little girl comes out and sees Santa. And then there's a dialogue there, and you are wondering, is this movie really going to go there and have this guy kill this little child? It doesn't. But it was pretty tense there the first time you watched that, where it's like, okay, what's going to happen here? And instead he gives her the bloody box cutter, which I thought was great.
And the kids, the police arrive later or something, and then the little girl happily says, "Oh, and Santa gave me this."
But anyway, Gene, anything more to say about this particular film?
No.
Very good. So moving on to
so the second half of the double feature,
2015's A Christmas Horror Story. Gene, what are your thoughts of this one?
I just wish that there was some kind of like radio station where somebody, because William Shatner is in this of all things. Yeah, that William Shatner. And he plays this radio DJ and he has this Christmas show. And the Christmas show is, he's on Christmas Eve and is playing Christmas tunes and he's talking to us like he's his grandpa, which he is, And so I wish there were real DJs like that. I was wondering about that. It's like, is there a radio station that I could turn in, Christmas Eve, and we could put in the background and there's some guy with some grandpa kind of guys talking voice, fatherly wisdom, good stuff, and then plays Christmas music. I wonder if that's out there.
I don't know. I have better things to do on Christmas Eve than search the radio stations.
Like, I'm not going to do any search. I'm just wondering if there's such a thing. But there should be. The radio is just blah. Although there is a classical station in Anchorage that I listen to all the time.
Well, I think the great thing about William Shatner in this movie is, I'm certain it was a picking up a paycheck role for him because he's on one set. I'm sure they filmed all his scenes in one day.
Probably.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, this movie, we run across a lot of movies that are like this, the Christmas Horror Story. Is that there's a lot of potential there and you can just see it. But the movie's just too disjointed. I think this movie tries to do too much. There's too many characters. Just narrow it down, focus your horror elements on maybe just a few people, and let the tension just rise as it should naturally, and you would have a much better movie. But they have too many characters, too many things going on, and it's like some things kind of horrific happens over here, and then all of a sudden scene shift, and we're doing something over here, and scene shift, and then we're over here. It's really disjointed, and it's more of a comedy than anything else, because then you end up with this one scene is where I think it's indicative of the movie. It's that there's this parents and they're driving, and all of a sudden this thing flashes across their road in front of their car. They're driving on this 2-lane, road in Christmas, and it's snow everywhere. And so the guy, of course, he freaks out, loses control of the car. He ends up in a snowbank. And so it's a desperate situation. So they end up in a church. They're fleeing. The little kid goes disappearing. He disappears. And so things are not good. And so they start true confessing to each other. Yeah, and the father confesses that his whole business venture is a lie. The daughter confesses that the little kid has been killing their pets. It's just like this kind of coming out of nowhere. And it doesn't kind of add anything, and it's just like I said, the word disjointed, I think, perfectly fulfills it. I mean, there are some good kills for sure, because it is a horror movie. Horror movies should have that. But again, too many jump scares that relieve the tension. So
yeah,
in the background, it's all about Krampus, and again that Christmas punishment. There's this whole scenes where Santa's involved, kind of like Santa. You think it's like, oh, this is what, they attempt to take us to Santa, like maybe Guardians of the Galaxy or Guardians, I'm saying the wrong name, but it's an animated movie, but it involves Santa, and you see Santa in North Pole with his elves and something like that. So the movie tries to go there, but I think it has a little bit too much.
Well, this movie really is just an anthology movie that doesn't know how to tell its stories, right? Most anthology movies, and they were super popular in the 70s, primarily, of course, Creepshow is a really famous one from the 80s. And normally these anthologies are, here's our first story, here's our second story, here's our third story, here's our fourth story. The problem with this one is, here's all of our stories in one big giant ball, and you're jumping back and forth between them. And so none of the stories ever get an opportunity to breathe and actually develop anything. And I think maybe the reason they did that is there's only one story in here that's worth telling. and
Right.
and that is I really wanted the whole movie to be Santa battling zombie elves. That would have been amazing. Right?
That would have been amazing because there's some good action there.
Yeah,
right.
And I mean,
but it just jumps around.
Yeah, and I mean when he's like, "Oh, Blinky, no, Blinky, no," and then he's got to kill him and stuff. That's awesome,
Yeah, he hits him, knocks part of his skull off.
Yeah, and
kind
so
of like Kill Bill Part 2.
all the good stuff is when it's Santa battling the demon zombie elves.
Yeah, that's really good action.
And then you cut back to other things, and like there's one of the stories is about these kids that are filming this documentary or something, and they're kind of in this haunted basement from this school that used to be in a Catholic thing, or I don't even remember what they were saying, a mental hospital or whatever. Well, a movie like that has to have time to breathe and develop. And since you're cutting all over the place, here's the story now with the people in the car driving down the road.
Yeah.
You're missing all of this stuff that maybe would be there. And I don't think they had a complete story for 2 of the 4 segments in this film because they just kind of stop.
Right. Like the one that you mentioned, just to interject. Yeah. It's like, I think if you had explored that one with the kids shooting the documentary where a previous murder had happened, just the Christmas before, but it had like satanic elements and these kids, there's some possession and there's some talk of like, giving birth to some child or
right.
like that one, more attention to that one sequence, and maybe just eliminate the sequence with the kind of like dysfunctional family, which kind of doesn't really add anything.
No, and I think and an example of what Gene is saying there too is there's the whole sequence where the possessed teen is trying to seduce that other teen,
right.
And then it and he's like, "Hey, you're not acting normal. I'm not going to let this happen."
Right.
And so the evil entity starts vibrating this cross, and then the movie just let's cut back to some other story that we're telling, and then it goes back where you see the aftermath eventually as to what happened there. But it's like, what are you guys doing? It's almost like it's 4 student films that never got finished, and they just like, let's slap them all together.
Yeah, and let's bring in William Shatner.
Yeah, and William Shatner. Yeah, yeah.
But it could have been more. It could have been kind of like even like a Warriors kind of thing, because there's like the William Shatner being the narrator, and there could have been like the sequences as they progress. But it just didn't happen. It takes a lot of different elements to make a good movie. Or to make a movie at all, and so, I mean, you try your best. I mean, hats off to these guys for the attempt. I mean, here we are, criticizing them for their attempt, but, you have to give them credit for, throwing it out there, seeing what they can do.
Well, and it's modeled after movies like Trick or Treat, which do this kind of style much better, and even on some level Pulp Fiction, which does this style much better.
Yeah.
This one you've got to give these stories time to breathe, and then you can't have the story that everyone wants to get to and forget about the other stuff, which is Santa kicking ass on the zombie elves, which is just great. Right. The whole movie should have been that.
Yeah, I agree with that with you. More on the kicking ass of the elves, that would have been good. But then they have more time on each scene or each element, and maybe like Pulp Fiction, present them in some kind of chronological order. But in Pulp Fiction, one of the beauties is there Quentin Tarantino kind of messes with the order, and so you leave the theater a little disjointed. Kind of thinking is like, oh, that's not how it really happened, and then you wonder what's the order, like what's the really progression here. So if they'd done something like that, more time on each sequence, then maybe put them not in chronological order, that could have been a much better.
Yeah, well, to me, the only way to really save this particular film would have been, we're just doing a more traditional anthology movie where here's the first story with the kid and the doppelganger thing. And then, okay, here's the second story, which is the family driving out into the aunt's house, and allowing each story, right? Because most of the anthologies are, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth one is the best one. It's the one that's going to leave the audience just awesome. Like think of Twilight Zone, the movie, right? The last one of those was the Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, John Lithgow, the gremlin on the plane, right? Yeah, to me, that movie was a clear example because the first one was, of course, an unfinished one. Vic Morrow had been killed on the set of that movie, so that one just stopped, and it wasn't that interesting anyway. Then the second one was that really lame Steven Spielberg remake of Kick the Can, which just brought the whole movie to a dead stop.
Then, see, I don't remember that one.
Well, of course you don't.
Because it was bad. That's probably why I don't remember.
Then the third one was the Joe Dante's remake of It's a Beautiful Life or whatever, with all the special effects and stuff. So, okay, this one's better. And then the last one was Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, which is a classic.
Remake of the Twilight Zone.
William Shatner. It went, not a good one, not a good one, good one, great one. And that's usually how these anthologies work.
Right.
This one is really the only good one we have is all the stuff with Santa and the elves. And so we've got to just kind of jumble everything together and stretch it out.
I kind of like, of all of them, that one was good because of the action. But if you're thinking about like maybe horror elements, the one with the kids, they're caught in like this basement. I think it is a school because they mentioned there's a principal.
Yeah.
That kind of has like possession and demonic elements there.
Well, it was like a school that used to be like a mental hospital or something.
Right, because they're caught in some kind of basement. Yeah. There are lots of
big
files.
Door, do not enter.
Right,
off limits, because that's where all this stuff happened.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a William Shatner fan, definitely watch this movie. Give it a shot.
Yeah, he's in it for maybe 5 minutes, spread out throughout the course of the whole film, just as a radio DJ commenting on things.
Right. Yeah. Did I like this movie? No, I didn't like this movie very much, and it's completely forgettable. But again, if you're a William Shatner fan, you gotta check it out.
Right. I agree with Gene. It is completely forgettable. It's not necessarily the worst thing you could watch.
Right. I've seen worse.
But it's also a movie you could just have on in the background, and anytime there's a loud noise, you could look and see what's happening, because there's really nothing that's going to drag you in. So.
Yeah, I feel bad. I think this movie was my suggestion.
It was.
Yeah. But you'd already seen it.
I had.
All right. So, Roger, we're wrapping up to the end of the year.
Right.
We're almost here.
Well, and next week we are going to post the best and worst that we reviewed this year.
Right.
And then we'll just go on into 2026 and see what happens, unless you want to do start off the new year with New Year's Evil, another slasher. It's okay to say no.
We should kind of be thematic here, like New Year's Eve 2026. 2026 is going to be a crazy, that's my prediction. 2026 is going to be a crazy year for you and us, here in America. And so, I'm alluding to our political situation, but it's coming. So, we should start the year with a crazy movie because it's going to be a crazy year.
Well, the premise of New Year's Evil, of course, is the maniac kills at the strike of midnight in every time zone.
Oh, we got to do it.
You're going to hate the movie.
I love the idea, though. So it's kind of like, it's interesting. I was in New York just a while ago. My wife and I were on vacation, but it's 4 time zones from where we are. Mm-hmm. Because right now we're shooting at 9 a.m. Right now it's 1 o'clock in New York City.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Well, 1 o'clock like 2 days ago.
Could be 3 days ago, actually.
No, it's not that extreme.
No, go the other way for the International Dateline.
Yeah. But so I hope you've enjoyed all of our stuff this year. And if you haven't, that's fine too, because we just ramble on sometimes.
We just go.
If you like what we're doing, subscribe to our channel, and because we post every single week.
Yeah, every single week we try to be consistent.
Yeah,
and throw comments. We'll answer every single comment.
We have done that. Unless you are very obscene, we'll just delete those.
Yeah, exactly. Well, have a great Christmas.
All right,
great New Year.
Yep, for sure. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week with our end of year reviews.
End of year. Yep.
Bye.